Lakshmi turned out to be more fun than I originally gave it credit for. The first thing I didn't like was these two ads in the beginning. It was probably because I was with bad DPS groups, and the ads were just living too long, and it was messing up my openers because if you get caught halfway through the opener when it's time to get back to the boss, you won't be able to get maim, the slashing debuff, up on the boss, unless you have other DPS. And I'm just speaking specifically from Warrior's point of view though, so I want to get maim up, and I don't want to have to go through a fell cleave and 3 or 4 other GCDs before I can get my debuff. So as long as those ads die fast, the opener in this fight is really the same as any other fight. Also, one thing I've started doing on off tank is just completely ignoring trying to pick up an ad. I used to try to DPS the other ad first, but sometimes the healers are asleep, and they'll just let you die. It's pretty frustrating. So I just go to the same ad everyone else does and let the main tank worry about it. As the off tank in this fight, all you really have to do, besides worrying about the fight generally, is watch the hate meter. You want to keep yourself second on the hate meter. The way you can do this is by, at the beginning, just throw out Evoke whenever it's on cooldown. Later in the fight, you need to use Shirk and Voke together, which will catapult the main tank ahead on the hate list and then bring you right back up with him. So as the fight goes on, you have to worry about it less and less, which makes it even more easy. So one thing I've noticed about my off tank opener is that it doesn't line up Thrill of Battle perfectly with this moment right here. She uses Chinchala, she moves to the middle to do this AoE, and Upheaval is ready, but Thrill just needs one more second, and it's just long enough that you get hit and you lose a little HP, and so it hurts your Upheaval. Maybe I can find a way to use Thrill just 2 seconds earlier in my opener, and that would fix that, but that's sort of specific to this fight. You'll see me use Reprisal a lot in this fight, and what I did is I replaced Low Blow, which is the stun, with Reprisal, because you can't ever stun anything, and it doesn't do any damage like it used to, so it's basically a worthless move. And it's sad because Shake It Off is a worthless move too. And really, Final Fantasy games are the king of giving you a move or a spell and then making it totally worthless. 11 would do that a lot. You would get Slow 2, and then every single thing that you fought resisted Slow, and you're like, well, what's the point of me having this? And so I don't get too upset when abilities are totally worthless, because that's just the Final Fantasy way, isn't it? Now, one thing you can do as a warrior to help boost your DPS is during this ad phase, and it's kind of dependent on which mobs get the bubble and which mobs your DPS burn the most, or if they burn them all equally, but in a general sense, what I do is I just look for the one with the most HP and I just stay on it. I burn all my abilities, my berserks, my infuriates, burn everything up, and try to just keep doing continual DPS and let everyone else worry about running around and killing the bubble. So if you get some lucky ad spawns, and if your DPS kind of leaves one of them alone and lets you stay on it, doesn't burn them all to 10%, then you can kind of boost your numbers a little bit right here. And I found that if I finish the ad phase at 3,000 or above, then I'm doing good. So right here I'm at, 2945, which is a little less than my best run, but it's still good. It's about 3,000. Now right here the boss uses the voice line, "Rest your souls in my bosom," but I think that might be like a translation problem, because shouldn't it be "on her bosom" and not "in it"? That's how it sounds. I should Google that. Hang on. Okay, well, I just Googled it, and in her bosom is correct, although I personally would have preferred on her bosom. Giggity. So if you burned everything up on the ad phase, it should be just about ready to burn again right now, but she uses the confusion ability very quickly after that super move. So I hang on to everything, and I try to just keep my Storm's Eye buff as fresh as I can get it. And after this confusion ends is when you get the super blue marks. You have to use your Vril, and that'll be the last of your Vril because you had 3. You used 1 at the super move, 1 on the confusion, and 1 right there for that blue mark. So now you can go to FFxiv City. You can drop all 6 of them fully berserked and everything. And at the very end of those 6 FFxivs, you'll have just enough time to build up 20 beast gauge for an onslaught. And the reason why you need an onslaught is so that you can run off and pick up a new Vril orb. The reason why I run off is because all the DPS and the healers take the close ones, and so I give up the close ones to the healers and whatnot. And that should actually be the last recharge that you should have to worry about, because later in the fight she puts the orbs all around the outer edge of the arena, which is where you should be standing anyway as the off tank. So you will probably recharge and not even realize that it happened. Now we're getting into the home stretch here. There should be one last Chinchilla phase where the boss just keeps throwing out mechanics and challenges you to forget your Vril, which is surprisingly easy whenever you're coming close to the end of the fight and you're staring at your hot bars and you just forget to click that Vril, you know? There's the last Chinchilla, and she follows that up with her confusion move. You see me squeeze in that last cooldown, that last GCD as I jump away. Now this confusion is followed up with a soak circle, and one thing that a lot of players forget, me too, is to pop your Vril. She's in Chinchilla mode, and this soak circle will put a bleed on you if you don't Vril it. So if you're already a little low on HP, plus you're going to bleed, it could be a bad combo. So remember your Vril in this last phase. So here you see me making use of tank privilege and just running around in the dot puddle. Here we are, the last 1%, finish the fight with a FFxiv, not a crit, boo. And so that's it, 2,722 DPS, and I cut the recording right here just because the fight's over without realizing that the mount whistle dropped. And then I rolled a 91, and I said, oh shit, let me start this recording back up. So this was actually my second best DPS run on this fight. And I got the mount out of it, and that's actually the first mount I've ever seen drop in this fight or in Susano. So that was pretty cool. Anyways, that's the run replay with commentary for Lakshmi. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.